Edward Kennedy Ellington, also known as Duke Ellington, was born on April 99 to James Edward Ellington and Daisy Kennedy Ellington, both pianists. She primarily played parlor songs and he operatic airs. They lived with his maternal grandparents at 2129 Ida Place, in the west neighborhood of Washington, D.C. His father, James Edward Ellington, worked as a White House caterer, while Daisy was the caretaker of the home. At the age of 7, Ellington began taking piano lessons. Daisy surrounded her son with dignified women to reinforce his manners and teach him to live elegantly. Ellington's childhood friends noticed that his casual offhand manner, his easy grace, and his dapper dress gave him the bearing of a young nobleman, and began calling him Duke. Though Ellington took piano lessons, he was more interested in baseball, and it wouldn't be until the summer of 1914 that he would be more interested in the piano. In the summer of 1914, while working as a soda jerk at the Poodle Dog Cafe, he wrote his first composition, Soda Fountain Rag, also known as the Poodle Dog Rag. Ellington created Soda Fountain Rag by ear, because he had not yet learned to read and write music. After this first composition, Duke began to listen in on other jazz pianists that played at local clubs, and from there, he started to really take it seriously. When Ellington was in his top peak of his career, he called his music American music rather than jazz, as who impressed him as beyond. These included many of the musicians who were members of his orchestra, some of whom are considered among the best in jazz in their own right, but it was Ellington who melded them into one of the most well-known jazz orchestral units in the history of jazz. He often composed specifically for the style and skills of these individuals. After 1941, Duke Ellington frequently collaborated with composer, arranger, pianist Billy Strayhorn, whom he called his writing and arranging companion. Sadly, Duke Ellington took advantage of Billy Strayhorn and took many of his pieces and called them his own. Take the A Train was not written by Duke Ellington, and however was written by Billy Strayhorn. Ellington recorded for many American recording companies and appeared in several films. Ellington led his band from 1923 until his death in 1974. His son Mercer Ellington, who had already been handling all administrative aspects of his father's business for several decades, led the band until his own death in 1996. At that point, the original band dissolved. Paul Ellington, Mercer's youngest son and executor of the Duke Ellington estate, kept the Duke going from Mercer's death onwards.